I am so excited for you to join me in another video, and today we are discussing the art of surrender and how to let go so you can truly be free. And this topic is so important because it is so related to femininity in your journey to becoming a high value woman. When you are a woman that's able to surrender and let go, it adds so much value to who you are, because when things happen, you're able to release, you're able to let go, and you're able to move on to the next thing gracefully. And when you do it with grace, you're not guilting people, you're not stuck in the past, you're not being so negative because of the way that life is going, the way that things are going. That adds value to you. That shows that you know how to handle situations with grace and emotional intelligence, and that will increase your value in people's eyes, and that will also increase the value that you start to see yourself. You start to see yourself as someone that's able to adjust to any situation, that can handle any situation with grace and elegance, and someone that's able to adjust to the new situation with confidence and wisdom. And the first way to becoming that person is to practice the art of surrender. Now, I do want to say one thing: detachment and surrender are similar, they are very close, but there is a slight difference. So with detaching, you are no longer emotionally hooked to how or when your desires will show up, whereas with surrender, you release the fight, the fear, or the need to fix it yourself, whatever it is, and you hand it over to God. And surrender is more about saying and believing that you have done your part. You now let the higher power do the rest. So I wanted to mention that distinction because in this video, I will be speaking about surrender and just releasing and letting go and just letting God take over, letting what is meant to be, because you put in everything you can, you've given 110%, and it's now up to God to bring what is meant to be. And also, I wanted to talk about this because surrender can be a difficult thing. It's easier said than done, and I am fully understanding of anybody that has to let go or surrender to something that you're so connected to, something you're desiring so much and so badly. And sometimes when the answer is just no, it's so difficult and it's not as easy to just say surrender. But I hope that this video and the content of it will help you let go, or at least start letting go, and will help you focus. If you're in the process of it and you find yourself picking up whatever it is to try to control the outcome, or holding on to the fear, or whatever it is, or whatever emotion you're feeling because you're struggling to let go of it, I hope that you can return to this video and just encourage yourself in it, get the tips from it again, and watch it as often as you need to, because surrender is not a one-time thing. Sometimes you have to surrender something several times before you're finally truly able to let it go. And I will be honest, I struggle with surrender a lot because of my perfectionist and controlling ways. But surrender is a journey, and I'm also practicing to let go, which is why this video is also helpful to me, and I hope that it will be helpful to you as well. So the first point in the art of surrender is to understand what surrender is. And surrender does not mean you stop caring, it just means you let go of the outcome. It's the art of trading what ifs for even ifs. So instead of saying, what if this doesn't work for me, dwelling on the thought of what if this doesn't go the way I planned, what if on the negative side of things, trade what if for even if. If you change your mindset and you say, even if it doesn't go as planned, I will be okay. Even if it doesn't go as planned, this is God's plan and something better is coming. And what I like about having the mental switch from what if to even if is that when you are on the thought of even if, you're not so stuck to one end of an outcome. You're okay with things going either way. And when you're on that thought, you start to believe that you will be fine with whatever happens, because that is true. Whatever happens, you will be fine. Whatever happens is what was meant to happen, and you will be okay regardless. There is something better, even if it's not the outcome you desired or wanted. You're headed to a new opportunity. Even if this doesn't work out, you will still be pushed to a new opportunity that might even be better, and one that you didn't even think was possible, one you didn't think was available, and life has brought you to this new opportunity. As you speak on your life, as you speak on an outcome, or as you speak on something you're working on, try to use the words even if, and you'll see how mentally and emotionally you will not be tied to a specific outcome, but you're more comfortable with either scenario happening. And that is how, when things go maybe the way you didn't plan, you're able to adjust and be in flow with the new thing that has come before you. You're in flow with the new opportunity. You're not resisting this new opportunity or seeing the negative of this new opportunity, but you embrace it because you were okay with this scenario coming, because your mindset was even if versus what if. Another thing on what surrender is that surrender is not giving up. Rather, think of surrender as giving it over. I am giving it over to God. That way you don't find yourself chasing something that is not meant for you. When you have the mindset of giving over rather than giving up, you will see that when you think more of I'm giving over to God, you stop resisting. When you're resisting something, it causes so much chaos and turmoil within yourself, and that's not a good way to live life. That's not a good way to try to control a situation. But when you give over, whatever comes, you're giving it over to God rather than thinking I'm giving up and it failed because I gave up, but rather you gave it over to God and this is what God wanted it to be. And what I love about this point is when you're not living in resistance, because resistance is hell, resistance is painful, resistance is chaos. When you're not living in resistance, you stop chasing, you stop begging, and you're more in alignment with what is meant for you. When you are in alignment, you are in peace, you are in flow. And again, this ties back to femininity. Femininity is being in flow and just adjusting and not being so resistant, so stern, so stuck in your ways, but you're just able to go with the flow and be accommodating of new opportunities, new experiences, and new ideas that are coming to you in ways that you did not plan for them to come. But when you align, you free yourself, especially if that answer is a no or the outcome is not what you wanted. Instead of resisting that no, fighting that no, staying in the cycle or the hamster wheel of trying this, trying that, and you know that it's not meant to be, and you just know. There are times when you just know it's a no from God, but instead of resisting that, you just accept and you align with the no, and that way you're able to free yourself from that resistance and focus on the new thing. You're free to focus on the new people that are coming in. You're free to focus on new ideas. You just free yourself rather than staying stuck in resistance. So the second point on the art of surrender is to release control in layers. And this means when you're trying to surrender, consider surrendering in layers rather than trying to surrender all at once, especially if you're really struggling to let go. Maybe divide the parts that you are able to start letting go of slowly and do it that way, rather than thinking of letting go of everything at the same time, and then it feels daunting and then you're struggling, and then that takes you back to resisting and trying to hold on to things that are not meant for you. So maybe to start, you let go of this one part that you cannot control and you just slowly start to release that. When you fully release that, you go to the next thing that you're able to release and then release that. And just like that, you find that you've surrendered the entire thing to God. Or if it's a project, let's say you're struggling to let go of a project. So for example, let's say it's a project at work or in school and you're struggling to let go because you feel like your input is needed, or for whatever reason you just kind of don't want to surrender, but you know that you have to. Maybe let go of a specific part of the project and you can still try to work on the other part. And if you're still unable to complete the project with what's left, release another part and give it over to someone, delegate to somebody, and then try to control the little bit that's left. And eventually, if you're unable to complete the project, you've slowly released what you're able to release, and with time you will release the entire thing. So I love the point of releasing and surrendering in layers and slowly and in parts, because it doesn't feel so daunting to let everything go at once that you just feel like, okay, now what? But you let it go slowly, and with time you will release the entire thing. And this could be anything. It could be whatever it is that you're dealing with in your personal life, or it could just be something with projects or at work, at school, like the example we just spoke of. And then another point on releasing in layers is to let go of the how and the when. A lot of times anxiety is caused by trying to manage and control the future, whereas depression is caused by trying to manage and control the past. If you're able to let go of the how, things will come to you and you don't have to chase them. Just Focus on giving 100% of your best in the present moment and giving all you have in this present moment. The how will happen, the when will happen when it's meant to happen. And also on the same point is stop living in the past. When you use the past as a learning lesson, you use the past to get what you're supposed to get from it, and you use it as fuel so that you don't go back to where you once were, rather than having the past have a hold on you that it's keeping you back. You're staying stuck trying to change something you could probably never change. You can never change the past, and dwelling on it, it does not matter how long you dwell or think about it, you can never change the past. What is gone is gone. And when you focus on the present, you realize that you have a better control of the future, because what you do in the present will result in how your future will be. So if you want a better future, focus on the present rather than focusing on the past. And also don't focus on the future, on things you cannot control, because those things you will have to take care of when you get there. But stay in the present, and that is the best place that you can be. When you're in the present, you will not be focused on the when. You will not keep looking to God on when will it be, when will this happen, but you just focused on what you can do in the present, and you're giving all you have in the present. You're giving the best in the present, and that's the best place to be, because this is where your true control is. Your control is in the present, in what you do in the present moment. And then a reminder on releasing in layers. Remember that sometimes you will have to release or surrender several times. Some things are just so heavy, some things are just so big, and some things are just not as easy to surrender and to let go of, that you have to keep releasing it several times. Sometimes it's once, sometimes it's 20 times, sometimes it's 100 times. But just remember that every time that whatever it is comes to mind, or you start finding yourself trying to control things and holding on to something, chasing, begging, remind yourself to release. And each and every time that you remember, remind yourself to release. Say it out loud if you have to, and just say, I release and I go free every time. And eventually it will happen that you do release and you go free, and one day you truly will be free. And this brings us to the third point on the art of surrender, and this is to find peace in the present moment. And we spoke about this a little bit in the second point, but finding peace in the present moment means that you trust God's plan and that you wholeheartedly believe that God's plan is what's best for you. So if you've been working on something, or you've been praying and just desiring something, and that answer is no, trust that God knows what's best, and that no is for a reason. And also try to believe that that no means not yet, or not this person. And believe that what is meant for you, the best that is meant for you, is on its way. This thing that God said no to was only going to hold you back. This thing that God said not yet to was going to maybe damage what was meant to be if you got it before the time was ready. And there was a sermon by T.D. Jakes, and he gave the example of, imagine, I can't remember the exact age, but let's just go with the 13-year-old. And he said, imagine a 13-year-old and you buy them this beautiful car, and the car is their dream car, and you give them the keys and you tell them you're free to drive the car on the road, and they drive it and they get into an accident. And he said, is that truly a blessing to get something before your time is ready? Whereas if you give this dream car to somebody that's 18, they're able to drive themselves and they're a bit more responsible than the 13-year-old. It's more of a blessing because they are ready for the blessing that's before them. And don't quote me on the ages of what he was saying, but I'm speaking from memory, and for the sake of the video, would just go with those ages. But the point that he was making was, when the time is right, the gift is fitting, the gift goes so smoothly, there's no resistance when that gift comes to you, and you will receive it in its best form. You will receive it in the way that you were meant to receive it, and you will keep it longer because it came to you when you were mature enough for it, when you were ready for it, when you were prepared for it, and simply when the time was ready for it. So finding peace in the present moment could mean, I'm not ready for this thing, let me work on being ready for this thing. Or it could just mean, God is perfecting it, and me rushing something that's not ready will not be good for me. It will not be the best for me. Another example that I've heard people say is, Think of a fruit that's growing on a tree and the fruit is not ripe. You could grab that fruit, even though it's green and it's on the fruit, it's big, like it's ready. It's the shape of it grown, and it's green, but it's not ripe. You could grab it, you bite into it, it's bitter, you won't enjoy it, and it just won't be a fun experience. Whereas if you're patient a little longer, you wait a little longer for that fruit to be ripe, when it's ripe and ready and you grab it from the tree, you will enjoy eating that fruit because it's ripe, it's juicy, it's tasty, it's the way you were meant to enjoy it. So that's the same way. In the present moment, use the present moment to prepare yourself, to better yourself, to learn what you're supposed to learn, and just surrender. Going back to the point we spoke of earlier, surrender waiting for the how or the when, and just do what you can in this present moment, because when the gift is ready, you will enjoy it a lot more than you will when you get it now. You will enjoy a ripe fruit a lot more than you will enjoy a fruit that's not ripe. And also with letting go of the how, this is something that's easier said than done, especially if you're just believing something that seems impossible. And I'm using the word seems because nothing is impossible. If you put your heart, your soul into it, and you work hard and you pray to God for this miracle to be, it will be. Stop focusing on the how so much, because that can sometimes hold you back. That can sometimes keep you so stuck on how things will work out, or it could even cause you to have anxiety or depression because you just cannot see how. It goes back to the point we spoke of where you're developing anxiety because you're living in the future and you're trying to manage the future because you're so focused on the how, or you're so stuck on the past thinking of, I did this before, that how did not work, so how else can I do it? And then you're stuck in depression because you can't see how something could work. Again, I know it's easier said than done, but try your hardest to let go and surrender of the how and the when on certain things, especially when your faith is required in what you're asking for, because some things just happen miraculously and you don't need to know the how. You just need to work on your faith and believe that that thing is coming. Spend your energy working on your faith, doing and giving 100% of all that you can, and preparing for what it is that you're asking for. That is a better use of the present moment rather than being stuck on the how or the when. And then another way to stay in the present moment is to anchor yourself in the truth. And with this, use affirmations, speak positive affirmations, and speak the truth over what it is that you're asking for. So don't believe your doubts, don't believe your fears, don't believe negative thoughts or things that are coming into your mind, because when you're stuck on fear or doubt, you will work on those, and anything that's motivated by those negative feelings will not result in anything positive. Instead, speak positive affirmations. If your mind is telling you this is too good to happen for me, speak affirmations of truth and shut those negative thoughts immediately and say, God delights in blessing me, and say, I'm the daughter of a king, I am the daughter of God, and God delights in blessing me. And if that thought comes back, say, nothing is impossible for God. All the desires of my heart will come to be in God's perfect timing. And just like that, use your affirmations to shut down false beliefs, to shut down negative thoughts. Use your positive affirmations to cancel out negative thoughts immediately the moment that they come into your mind. Stop in your tracks and just speak the truth. If you have to say it out loud, do that, because don't let a negative thought grow. Don't let a negative thought repeat in your mind, because that is how it grows, and then eventually you start speaking those negative words, and your words are so powerful. What you speak will be. So if you have to speak your positive affirmation, speak it out loud, if that's what it takes to remove and cancel that negative thought immediately. And if you're struggling to surrender and just believe that what it is that you're asking for, what it is that you're working towards just feels impossible, say this quick prayer, and this is from the Bible, directly from the Bible, so you know God will answer it right away. And this is from the book of Mark chapter 9 verses 24, and it says, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. God will help your unbelief, because he knows that sometimes it's just hard to believe in things that seem impossible. Sometimes it's hard to imagine something coming into manifestation when you just can't see how. and when everything around you is just saying there's no way. And again, it could be your thoughts, where your thoughts are telling you this is too good for you. Pray to God and say, God, I believe you. I believe in this thing I'm asking you for. I believe that you can do these things for me, even though they seem impossible, because you say nothing is impossible for you. I believe, but help my unbelief. God is so understanding. God is so merciful and compassionate, and he knows that these things are easier said than done. He knows, and that's why he included this specific prayer in the Bible. Just that short line, it's such a powerful prayer to say over what you're praying for and just struggling to believe. You will be amazed at how God will help you believe and how God will increase your faith. So now we will discuss the truth about surrender. And the first truth is that what you focus on grows. So whatever you're putting your focus on is what will grow bigger, is what will be. Because think of that focus as fertilizer, and when you're focusing on something, you're fertilizing it, you're growing it, and that is what will be. So if what you're being controlling about or struggling to release control over is because it's being driven by fear or being driven by negative thoughts of doubt or whatever other negative thought, when you focus on that fear, it will grow, and that will make you feel like you need to control the situation, the people, or the thing even more. Whereas if you focus on believing that I've given 100% of my best and what will be is what will be, that is what will grow. And when you release with faith and you release with positive hope and belief that the best outcome is what will be, you will find yourself free, because you don't feel like you need to control something based on a fear that you're perceiving, based on a fear that you're constantly thinking about, based on doubt. If you're being controlling of somebody because you don't believe they are smart enough to complete the project, or they are incapable of doing whatever it is, you will see every mistake that they make, because you're subconsciously focused and looking for that. And that's just not a good way to be. And that will not help you in being a high value woman when you're controlling to that extent. People instead will avoid you. Nobody wants to be around somebody that's like that. So instead, when you release with faith, because you're focused on the positive outcomes, you're focused on, if this goes wrong, we can adjust and it will still go right. It will still go the way it's meant to be. You are more free, and that's a better way to be, and that's a better way to live your life. The next truth about surrender is that what you believe is what you expect. And life is full of boomerangs, and when you can stand still and release with faith, you will get that exact thing. But if you hold on with doubt and fear, it only grows and you attract that more. So when you observe what you believe and start to think of your beliefs, your faith is what you expect, it's what it will be, you start to be more aware of whether you're believing more in faith or whether you're believing more in fear. Because if you believe in fear, life will boomerang that, and you will get not good things from that. But if you're believing in faith, life will boomerang that thing. You will get the positive things in life because you're believing in faith rather than believing in fear. And this is because what you believe starts with your thoughts, and then it's spoken in your words, and then it shows in your actions. So if you're believing fear, you will speak fear thoughts, you will speak doubt, and then it will show in your actions, and you won't get the best because you're working from uncertainty, you're working from fear, you're working from a place of clinging and chasing and all that negative behavior. Whereas if you're thinking faith, you're speaking faith words, you will act out of faith. And when you're giving 100% because you believe that something will work out, you're expecting this thing to be just the best because you are giving your best and you're truly believing it, you will get that. And even if it's not that exact thing, it will be close to that, rather than the other end. Whereas if you're working with fear and you're acting from fear, you will get exactly that fear thing because you're attracting it, and it will come into your life. And going back to the point of watching what you speak, think of the saying, you reap what you sow. So if you're speaking negative, you get negative. If you're thinking positive, you get positive. And when there's so much emotion behind your words, they are just like extra fuel added to those words, and that's what will be. So think of your words in this way. Your spoken words are seeds, your emotions are water and sunlight, and your belief is the soil in which your reality grows. So as you surrender and you start to consider where things may or may not be working for you, is it starting from your words, which are the seeds, or is it your emotions, and is it bad emotions? So for the example given here, are you watering what it is that you're believing in with bad water, negative water, fear water, or are you watering it with positive emotions, belief, faith, enthusiasm? All those positive emotions, which are water and sunlight. Is the problem maybe your beliefs, which are the bad soil? So when you're able to identify where it is that you need to release so things can start working for you, maybe change your words and then things will fall into line. Or change the soil, which is your beliefs. What are you believing? Again, going back to the example, if you keep saying it's too good for me, that's bad soil that even if you have the right seeds, you have the right amount of water and sunlight, it will not grow in that soil. You will self-sabotage, you will lose it, you will lose whatever it is, even if it comes to you and it's that exact thing that you asked for. So try to determine in what areas you need to release negativity. If it's the seeds, also known as your words, is it the sunlight, the water, or the sunlight, also known as your emotions, or is it your beliefs, also known as the soil? And that will help you with speaking and believing truth into your life and getting those things, because again, your faith is your expectancy. Your fear is your expectancy. So work on increasing your faith so that you get faith in your life. You start to expect faith and good in your life. The next truth about surrender is that control your thoughts and your imaginations. Often we suffer more in imagination than in reality. When you are stuck with thinking of negative outcomes, you're stuck of thinking of worst case scenario, you suffer so much more in imagination, because most often we think of the worst and the reality is not even as bad as we were imagining. You're living in bondage of negativity. You're living in bondage of bad thoughts, because that's where your thoughts and your imaginations are. And when you release and surrender those, you will be free. And when you start to imagine positive, you start to imagine good, that will help and elevate your mood. It will elevate your emotions, and it's a better way to live rather than being stuck on negative imaginations. Change it and start to imagine the best outcome. Start to imagine what the best case scenario is rather than holding on to negative. And also, as you change to imagining the best case scenario, do not get so attached that you get on the other side where you're trying to control the best positive outcome. We're speaking of surrendering, and surrendering means I've given my best, I will let God do the rest. What happens is God's plan, and God's plan is best and what is perfect for me. So when you're thinking best case scenario, it's to help you not get stuck on the negative end of things. It's rather to help your faith, help your belief, as we spoken in the previous point. When you're working from faith and you're working from a positive mindset, positive follows. Life is a boomerang. You think positive, you speak positive, you attract positive. So thinking best case scenario is for the sake of attracting positivity. It's for the sake of bringing good into your life and bringing good into whatever it is that you're working on. It's not to be controlling of a positive outcome. So I just wanted to emphasize that. And another point I wanted to mention on controlling your imaginations is that when you're imagining something negative, you suffer twice, because you're suffering in that imagination. Like, you're not in the best mood when you're thinking of something negative. You're not thriving when you're stuck on worst case scenario imaginations or thoughts. You're suffering in those toxic, depressive, negative, low vibration thoughts. And then if that actually does happen, because your thoughts have manifested it, your negative words have manifested it, and it has come, you suffer again, because you're now living the reality of those negative imaginations. Whereas if you think positive, you're imagining positive, even if the outcome is negative, you only suffer once, because you didn't suffer in the imagination. You're more suffering from what has come, because that's beyond your control. This is what life has just brought. Sometimes life is just negative. It's just life. And also, if you're stuck on a negative imagination and then the negative thing you're imagining doesn't even happen, it's the positive thing that happens, you've literally wasted your time and your energy, your precious energy, stuck on something negative, stuck on a negative imagination, thought, and emotion, only for things to work out for the best anyway. And it's like, it's just such a waste of time. It's such a waste of energy. Whereas you could just keep your thoughts positive, positive happens, and you've been high vibration the entire time. You've just been in a good mood the entire time. If you are stuck on positive thoughts and negative happens, okay, you're not so down twice because you were here and then the thing happened, you're only down here. Whereas if you're stuck on negative, you're already down there, and then the thing happens, you're even lower than you need to be because you're suffering again. So the point I'm making with this is that when you control your imaginations, you control how long you suffer. You control how long you live something, especially if it's something negative. So every time you find yourself imagining the worst, ask yourself if it's worth suffering twice, or if it's worth wasting your time just for the best case scenario to happen anyway. And that answer will always be no. So just remember this statement when you find yourself on the negative path of thoughts, and use this to free yourself from those negative things, free yourself from trying to control a future outcome or trying to relieve a past outcome, so that you are instead brought in the present moment and you can stay positive in this present moment. The next truth about surrender is that impatience is a lack of faith. When you are impatient, it shows that you do not trust God to bring the thing that you're asking for, or for the best outcome to happen in the perfect timing that it's meant to be. If you trust in God's perfect plan, this means you trust in His timing. And if you trust in His timing, you will wait patiently for the perfect plan to manifest in your life. So this goes back to the example of seeds. If you plant a seed, you're not digging for it, trying to see if it's growing, trying to imagine how far it has been. The more that you dig for it, disturb it, it will not grow. In fact, you will kill it because you're constantly disrupting the process of it growing. And that's the same way with being impatient. When you're impatient in what God is working on and you're micromanaging God, checking on God, trying to tell Him how you want things to go, trying to tell Him how things should be, you are literally disrupting the plan, and it shows a lack of trust. Because with that same seed, if you plant it in the soil, you're trusting that it will grow. You are trusting that all that you're putting in, that watering you're putting in, the fertilizer, the sunlight, your care, your love, you're trusting that all of that will grow that plant into a big tree or whatever it is that you've planted. So that's the same way. These things that you have trusted God with, when you're continuously giving your energy and effort into preparing for this thing to come to be, into preparing yourself to be the person that's ready for this thing, that's a better use of your energy and time, rather than constantly checking with God, being angry with God because it hasn't yet come, checking when it will be, and then you're checking with God with frustration. You're irritated with the world because you're not where you think you should be. It just shows a lack of trust. It shows that you're not trusting God to grow this. You will trust a seed to grow without constantly checking, but you won't trust God with something you're asking Him for. Like, it just doesn't work. So when you find yourself trying to be micromanaging of things you don't have to micromanage, you're trying to be controlling of things you cannot control, think of yourself as disrupting this seed that's in the soil, doing what seeds do, and you're disrupting it, and you're literally hindering its progress. You're slowing down its progress, and you're just not helping it. But try to release control, trust that God will make things work, and that with time it will grow the way it's meant to be in its perfect timing, and you will reap the rewards of your faith. You will enjoy the fruits of your work. The labor that you've put in, it will come to fruition in the perfect time, and trust that God is working on it. So always remember that impatience with something you're believing and trusting God for is a form of lack of faith, and try to adjust when you catch yourself going down that path. And then another truth about surrender is to stop taking things personal. And with this, it's more related towards other human beings. Stop taking what people do personal and trying to control another human being, because that's one of the most tedious things you will ever do. It will just stress you out, and it's just not worth it. Trying to control another grown adult is just so painful and such a waste of time. Like, just imagine how difficult it is for you to control yourself. If you're trying to be disciplined in something, let's say you want to stop a bad habit, think of how much effort it takes you to stop yourself from indulging in a bad habit that you know is not good for you. Now try to think of controlling another person who is not as in whatever your agenda is for why you're trying to control that. This person is enjoying their life and you're trying to stop them from enjoying their life from their perspective. And that just won't paint you in a good light. Being controlling of other people, being super controlling of other people is such a low value quality that you will repel people instantly, and it is guaranteed that you will repel people. They will avoid you and stay away from you because you're trying to control their life and you're trying to make them do things that they're not ready to do. People are on their own journey and they will learn what life is meant to teach them. The same way life is teaching you, life is teaching them. When they are ready to learn whatever lesson they're meant to learn, they will learn it, and just trust and believe that at that time they will change in the ways that you are hoping for them to change. Especially if what you're trying to control is, let's say you know that somebody is down a wrong path and they are just so resistant. And I'm not talking about extreme things like, on drugs or whatever. I just mean like somebody is on a wrong path, like the decisions they're making, maybe they're not taking school seriously or whatever it is. They will learn the consequences of their actions, and life is a much better teacher than you ever will be. So instead of you trying to control them and then taking things personal, like they don't listen to me, they don't care about me, they're not caring about my input, you're only harming yourself by doing that. And you're also only harming the relationship that you have with this person by doing that. When you release control of other people, it's one of the best things you would do. It's such an art of surrender to just let people learn what they're meant to learn. Unless they ask you, I will put this disclaimer, unless they ask you for help, they're sincerely needing, requesting, asking for your help, that is different. And you should help when people are needing help, when people are asking for help. And even if you offer your help without them asking for it, if they tell you they don't need your help, surrender, release, let go. Because you will only be offensive, you will only harm the relationship, and you just won't be happy in the end because you're more invested in somebody else's life and you're neglecting your own. And I want to be careful as I say this because I don't mean this in a selfish way. I just mean when somebody does not want your help, release, let go, and then don't take it personal. Don't take the things that people do personal. People are on their own agendas. People are doing what they think is best for them. They're making decisions based on what's best for them in that moment. And most of the times, they're thinking about themselves. It's the same with you. When you are making a decision, you're not considering the entire world, at least not on every decision. You're not considering everybody. The decisions that require you to consider people, I imagine that you do, but there's some decisions where don't, because that's what's best for you, regardless of how it affects somebody else. So you can't be upset for somebody taking that route and taking that decision personal. It just won't work out for you. And just remember, when somebody's doing something, remember that they made that decision because of what's best for them in that moment. And if they want your help, you're readily available to help and you will gladly help them. But until then, don't take their decisions personal. Release, let go, and you will be happier and you will be more free to focus on yourself and your life and focusing on watering your grass so that your grass can be green. And then the final truth on the art of surrender is to release with love. And this is one of those things that can be easier said than done, especially if somebody has hurt you and you're just struggling to release and forgive them. But release with love and you will be happier in the end. Because the reality is, if you are holding on to something for whatever reason, and with this, the example of somebody has hurt you and you're just holding on because you're wanting that apology so badly, you're wanting them to suffer, you want to see karma at work in their life, you want to see whatever. you're only holding yourself back, and it's keeping you stuck to this person. It's keeping you stuck to this situation, and you may or may not realize it, but you are not progressing because you're so focused on this negative thing. Whereas if you release with love, you free yourself. This is the best advice I can give on the real art of surrender. Release with love. The more that you release without resentment, the more that you release with forgiveness, the more that you release control over whatever outcome you think you want, you will be free and you will enjoy your life the sooner that you do it. The sooner that you free yourself from this bondage, the sooner you free yourself from this negative situation or person, the better off you will be, the better your life will be. So release with love. And this could also be with projects that you're working on, or just life in general. It doesn't have to be a person, just life in general. If you're working on something and it didn't work the way you wanted, release with love. Rather than being resentful and you're holding on to resentment, you're holding on to bitterness, it just keeps you stuck. And then when you're in those feelings, you're blocking your own blessings, because those feelings do not attract blessings. Those feelings do not lead you to success. They do not lead you to focus on what's new, what's better, as we spoke of in the beginning of the video. You're stuck on bitterness, you're stuck on resentment. You can't even see the new opportunity that's existing. You can't see the new thing that has come into your life because you're so stuck on the past and holding on to something negative. Release with love, and I promise you, you will see the best that life has to offer you. You will receive, you will be readily available to receive. And this goes back to femininity, being able to receive the good that's meant to be. Just being able to receive so you can adjust and go to the next thing with elegance. You're able to adjust with grace. You're able to adjust with love, because you've released with love. You're not releasing with hate. You're not releasing with bitterness. That's a whole different energy. And wherever you go, that new opportunity, if you go to a new opportunity still holding on to bitterness, resentment from the past, it will not thrive as much as it could. It will not be successful as much as it could, because of the energy that you're bringing, the energy you're carrying, which is the resentment and the bitterness. So true art of surrender is releasing with love. And if there's anything you take from this video, it's this: release with love. So for this part of the video, I wanted to give a step-by-step guide on the art of surrender so you can release and be free. And the first step is to write down the situation. When you can fully acknowledge the situation, that will give you a clear focus on the entire situation, the elements that are involved, the people that are involved, what you've done in the past, what you possibly could do. When you are fully aware of the exact situation, that is the first step on how you know what it is that you need to surrender, exactly where you need to surrender, and it'll help you know who you need to surrender. So step one, write down the situation. Step two is to check that you have done everything that you can to make the situation work. So be sure that you've given 110% and then some for this situation to have worked, because you cannot release if you've not given your all and then something fails and then you think this was the outcome that was meant to be. That's not true, because you didn't give 100%. There were other methods you could have tried. There was something else you could have done. If you give 100% and the answer has been no, 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 no from every angle you've tried, everything you've done, and there's just nothing else left for you to humanly do, that's how you know it's time to surrender. And that will also give you peace, because when you know that you've given 100%, you will be able to truly let go, because you know you've given 100%. When you haven't given 100%, you will not be able to release, you will not be able to let go, because deep down you know you could have done more, and you will always walk with that thought. You will always wonder, and you don't want to live in regret. So be sure that you've given everything you can, and you just know that this is not meant to be. You just know that it's time to let go, because it's doing more harm to hold on and to keep trying than it will to let go. And that was the third step, which was determine that it's a definite no. I did speak a bit of it in the second point, but when you know it's a definite no, you will easily let go rather than considering and being stuck on a what if. When you know it's a definite no, you will let go easily. Then the fourth way is to release and replace with positive affirmation. And this could look like saying things like, I let go of this situation and I go free. I release with love and no longer fight the outcome. I choose to focus on new possibilities. When you are saying positive affirmations like that, it will help you release. It will remind you to release, and it's a positive reminder to release, because when you keep telling yourself, I release this situation and I go free, you keep reminding yourself of that, eventually your mind will catch on, your mindset will shift. And I love the affirmation of, I am focusing on new opportunities. That will keep you focused on what's new, what's better, rather than being stuck in the past and what has gone, or being stuck in the past of what could have been. And then if this is someone that you need to let go of, release with love. Release people and things with love. It's the best thing you do for yourself. And this does not have to be a complicated thing. When I first came to understand this concept, I thought it was such a complicated thing. Like, what do I say? How much do I say? And it doesn't have to be daunting and stressful like that. You releasing with love is as simple as saying, I release this person with love. I release insert person's name with love, and I go free. That's all you have to say, and repeat it as often as you need to, and eventually you will release them, and you will release them with love, and you will truly be free, because you will not be holding on to resentment, you will not be holding on to bitterness or the hopes of seeing them fail or whatever it is. You release them with love, and when you give love, love comes back to you. And love is not romantic love. It just means you're releasing with kindness, you're releasing with understanding, you're releasing with whatever other positive emotion you can think of, but you are releasing them with love and positivity. And releasing them with love does not mean they have to be back in your life. It does not mean you have to entertain them the way you once did. It does not mean they have to be so involved in your life like they once were. You can release somebody with love and they're no longer in your life, and that is perfect and that is fine. But what you are truly doing is freeing yourself from the bondage of what the pain they caused you, freeing yourself from the bondage of the hopes of an apology that may never come. You are freeing yourself, and really you are showing yourself love by doing that. And that's why they say forgiveness is more for you than for the other person. So release with love is the best thing you will ever do. And then the final step, when you surrender, it means that you move on to what's new. You move on to what is next. You are taking on actions that prove that you believe the next thing that came is the new opportunity. You're taking action and embracing this new opportunity that has come versus the outcome that you hoped for. You are moving forward rather than being stuck, and you're doing things in the now that will lead to a future that you want. You're preparing for the future that you want and the future that you deserve. You're doing something new because you have let go and you've surrendered, and you're keeping your eyes forward. And the example I can give with this is, let's say if you get out of a relationship, and instead of holding on to the past, being hopeful that they'll come back, and just being depressed that they have not yet come back because you're stuck on the when, you're stuck on the how, instead show faith that you believe that somebody better is out there. And this could mean creating your dating profile or going out there to try to meet somebody. You're showing an act of faith that better is out there, and I'm taking action to meet that better thing, to meet that better person. And this could be with anything. It doesn't have to be with dating, but whatever it is in life that you are surrendering, take action as an act of faith that you are looking forward to this new thing. You are embracing and accepting this new opportunity, this new idea, and you are giving all you have to make this new thing work. You are in flow rather than resisting this new opportunity. And that again is a definition of femininity. It's a quality of femininity. being in flow and just embracing what comes, embracing with grace, embracing with elegance. Another truth about surrender is that you have to stop chasing energetically. So if you surrender, this means energetically surrender as well. Stop obsessing about the thing, stop thinking about it constantly, stop having secret hope about whatever it is. When you make the decision to let it go, truly let it go in your efforts. If you've done everything you can and then some, let it go in your efforts, let it go in your mind, let it go. Because when you're chasing energetically, that's another form of chasing something, and we all know the saying, when you're chasing something, it runs away from you. So even though you may not be chasing physically or literally, energetically, you could be chasing something and you're also chasing it away. When you surrender, remember to surrender energetically as well. And surrender also means finding peace in chaos. So you may have the chaos of feeling the pain of having to let something go, feeling the pain of disappointment, and that's what I mean by chaos. But you have to find peace in that, and I think that's one lesson that surrendering will teach us, because when you are able to find peace regardless of how things are going, it will give you confidence to find peace in whatever else happens in life. You will not be easily swept away and turn into depression or sadness and just whatever other negative feelings. But when you train yourself to find peace in chaos, you will have confidence and strength to believe in yourself too. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons that the art of surrendering is meant to teach us, because when you find that peace, you will be happier. When you find that peace, you will be free. And that is the goal of life, is to live a life that's peaceful and free and no chaos regardless of what's going on, because chaos will always be there, problems will always be there, things that you don't want going the way you don't want them to go is likely to happen. Negative things happen. It's just how life is. But when you're able to find peace in chaos, you're able to find peace in disappointment, you're able to find joy in life not going the way you want, I think that is such a powerful moment, and that is one thing that surrender will teach us. And if you think of surrender as practice to do that, you think of surrender as the goal of, I will find peace in this chaos, I will find joy in this disappointment. It's a much better mindset to be in. It's a bigger goal to have, and it's a motivational goal to have, in fact, because you're working towards something that's for your best, on something that is an inner quality that will help you for the rest of your life. Try to make it a point to find peace in the chaos and to find joy in the disappointment. And then another truth about surrender is that sometimes you will be glad that you did surrender. Think of those things in life that you wanted so bad. You thought they were the best thing that existed. You thought this person was the best thing that existed. This relationship, you just didn't want to let it go because you thought this relationship was everything. It was the one and only. And then you meet someone who is so much better than you even imagined. You meet this partner who is loving you beyond what you even thought was capable. And you start to realize that you're grateful for that thing not working, that relationship not working. You're grateful that it didn't. You're grateful that that thing that you were holding on to so badly, the thing you were chasing, the thing you were so hopeful for, and sometimes even angry with God that it didn't work the way you wanted it to work. Later on, a few years, a few months, whatever it is, you're grateful that that thing did not work. So if you're struggling with surrender, remember that sometimes it is for your good, because what is coming is better, and you will be grateful that this thing you're asking for, you'll be grateful that it didn't work out, because if this thing that you are holding on to and chasing so badly works, you're pretty much saying no to the best thing that God is trying to give you. You're saying no by holding on to this thing that you currently feel or think is the best, and you don't want to let it go. Trust that God sees the full picture of your life. Trust that God sees that this thing that you're holding on to is good for as far as it has come. It is now time to let that go and get better, because where you're going in life, you need this better thing. Where you're going in life, you need a partner that's more supportive. You need a partner that's more loving. You need a partner that's more available and knows how to communicate, versus this person that you're holding on to because you're just used to them, you're comfortable to them, or whatever it may be. And this is just an example, but it could be with anything. If you're struggling to let go, try to think that maybe something is better. This could also apply with a career. You may be holding on to a job that you know you deserve better, but you're holding on to it because you're comfortable, because there's just something that's keeping you comfortable. Maybe it's your coworkers, maybe it's the pay, maybe it's, and with the pay, I mean, it's enough to cover your bills to where you don't need more, you're just comfortable. So try to think that what life is asking you to let go of, try to think that it's doing that because where you're going, you deserve this thing that it is trying to give you. You deserve this thing that it is bringing into your life, and you will find peace with starting to let go. You will find peace with surrendering, and you will be more enthusiastic about what's meant to be for you, what's coming for you, versus feeling stuck with something that you're putting in so much effort that it's maybe even damaging you in the process. So letting go could be a good thing, because one day you will say the words, I am grateful that thing didn't happen. I am grateful that relationship failed. I am grateful I had the courage to walk away from that job and go do something better and follow what God was telling me and being obedient in God's word. So I hope that this video was helpful to anyone out there that's currently trying to surrender something and let go of something that has been difficult to let go of. I hope that the tips provided in this video are helpful, and I hope that you do let go and free yourself and just be compassionate and patient with yourself. This is a process. It's not a one-time thing, and eventually you will get there, and you will get the things that you desired, whether it's that thing that will come back at a different time, or whether it's a better thing that will come back, and whether it's a thing that will come to you in the most miraculous way, in the best way that God can give it, because it comes to you in God's perfect timing. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you again for watching my video. I wanted to say, take a moment to check out my online jewelry store, Pretty Dainty. It is faith-based jewelry that is both elegant and beautiful, and when you wear it, it is a reminder of God's love and His promises for us and His plans for our lives. I will link the website below, and happy shopping. With lots of love, Nia.